and welcome to the Press Start Podcast, Press Start Australia's weekly video game discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ewan, joined today by my fellow gamers and co-hosts, Shannon.
Hello.
James.
Hello.
Brody.
Hello.
And Kieran.
Hello.
Today we're going to be talking about Xbox's upcoming showcase, Square cancelling millions of dollars worth of games, and the latest Switch 2 rumours. But first, James, how goes it catching back up with all the games that you were unable to play whilst you were travelling?
Not really good. The day that I flew back, I got hit with a review game, which is fine, not complaining. Did
I miss a review? Should I have that?
No,
on the agenda
it's not.
for today?
It's not out
Better
yet.
than being hit
No,
by
no,
a
no.
car, I suppose.
It is actually, yeah, which also
I thought
could
that's what
happen
you
to
were
me
going to
today.
say. I was like, wow, you've done well.
I haven't played anything on my backlog yet, and it's building rapidly. So, is this like how normal people feel like games? Because I don't know if I can sustain this like constant sense of.
I
I don't know.
played 40 minutes of Signalis about a year ago, and I still want to go back to it. So yeah, it's persistent.
You definitely should. I don't know. Like, I haven't played anything, Ewan. I've got a list like Final Fantasy and Peach.
Yeah.
I think are the top, my two top runners at the moment. Whatever I'm saying. Yeah, the crab game as well. The crab Dark Souls game. I want to play that, but it has glitchy achievements, so there's no point playing a game if you can't achieve it, as we all know.
I think you were playing some of that, right, Shannon? Aggro Cab?
Yeah, it's good.
Aggro Crab is the developer.
That's the developer.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Another Crab's Treasure is the game for anyone playing at home.
I was. Do they only
Don't
make
Google
crab
it.
games? I was confused by that.
They might be. Maybe it's their niche.
No, their last game wasn't crabs. So I think
okay.
that
They were
was like
still
it
called
was just their
Aggro Crab.
destiny.
We can see how I got confused there, right?
Yeah, I was also confused about that.
So no Stellar Blade yet. I was kind of half tempted to throw that into the show notes today, given that it was stirring up some controversy. But I figured we're all going to be on the same page about it, and there wasn't going to be much to say.
Yeah. I've played that. I'm playing that, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't.
So you're
I don't particularly like it, but it might get better
okay.
after 10 hours.
Are you disappointed that it's been censored to all hell? Then
I don't think I don't think it
was tongue in
has.
cheek,
First,
by the way.
yeah, like you can literally take all her clothes off the second you can play as her. So I don't really know it's been censored, but I'm not particularly like upset that one costume has stockings and now it doesn't. But yeah.
God, some people are though. Some
Just
people think
look up
it's the world
porn
gone mad.
if that's what you want.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's like that's not like an old thing to say, but a new thing to say, I should say. But I don't know. It's yeah. I actually think that works. I don't want to talk about it. The game is fine at the moment. I think people should play other things if this game is upsetting them so much.
People just like being upset. I feel like we always say it on this show. It's that.
It's just life, really.
It
when
is.
you think about it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not upset about the so-called censorship. The angle at which her underwear is cut does not affect whether or not I enjoy the boring
well,
story.
I think we've said all
So,
we need to say
yeah.
on the matter. I felt like that probably wasn't going to be much of a talking point.
No.
Brody, do you have any tips for me on No Rest for the Wicked? I saw you wrote an article about it. I take it you're still really enjoying the game. I am too, but I am struggling.
Look, it's a Souls game, so I'm not very good at it. I'm more going the route of, bashing my head against the wall trying to beat these bosses. I'm too stupid to learn their patterns and stuff. So basically, I'm just now going the route of starting a new realm and going through that again to just try and grind for level at this point. So I'm pathetic. So no, I don't have any tips. I'm sorry.
every like video I've watched has been like, just try and get the backstabs, and I'm like, I don't understand how you're getting the backstabs without getting stabbed yourself.
And so I'm confused. I don't know. Do backstabs I know you can do like sneak attacks that do extra damage, but are backstabs like a thing in this game? Because I missed that completely. I must.
Yeah, no, they totally are. Like if you're
shit.
directly behind the enemy and this skull, like the red dot, kind of expands into a skull, then you can do the backstab.
I thought that was just for sneak attacks. Yeah,
No,
okay. I might
well,
have
that's
to...
the thing. Like you can
I'll
do
probably
it
learn
when
this
you
in the-
parry, but I think you can do it without parrying. And I just I tried doing it on the first boss and couldn't find like any sweet spot in which it worked. So,
That's another issue I've got is I just can't parry to save myself. So yeah, I'm just brute forcing it at the moment. But no, I'm very much enjoying it. So.
I kind of discovered there's only like certain attacks that can be parried. Otherwise, I've just got the big claymore and I'm trying to keep a distance and just hit it with like as much distance as I can. Anyhow, I will persevere. But we should persevere with the rest of the show and talk about some of the news that we have to discuss. And I want to kick things off today by chatting about the Xbox Showcase being confirmed for June. They've revealed the date and time for their big game showcase in June. And like last year, it's going to be kind of a double feature stint as well. So the showcase is going to kick off June 10th at 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So bright and early for us East Coast folk. With the follow-up mystery in kind of inverted commas, because it's all but confirmed.
Like a little rat trying to gnaw its way out of a box.
If you don't watch the podcast on YouTube, now is the time.
You need to.
Did I really wiggle them about as much as that?
You
I meant to
did.
just do this. I say mystery presentation because it's all but confirmed to be the next Call of Duty title. Tom Warren at The Verge also indicated that he believes a new Gears of War title is going to be announced at the showcase. Interesting. With dates for Microsoft Flight Simulator, Avowed, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle also to be announced. Kieran, let's come to you first. Would this sufficiently excite you? Does this sound like a pretty good showcase in the making?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I would be happy if they just addressed all of the stuff that they've announced over the last, 5 years and gave us something in the way of release dates or windows before they start, adding more with Gears of War and things like that on top. I feel like they've still got a backlog of things that they need to, get through before they go, here's more games. But, yeah. I feel like their showcases in June are always good. It's always a good mix of updates on their big stuff and then a bunch of really cool little third-party projects. So,
yeah, there was some information was coming the way as well. I saw Games Chronicle reporting on it. I think it was kind of part of the Verge speculation too, though. That October was going to be Call of Duty, Avowed, and Microsoft Flight Simulator going to be November, and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle in December. So these are kind of all games potentially coming out later this year. We've obviously got Hellblade coming out this month too. James, do you feel like this is kind of shaping up to be a really kind of strong year for Xbox and the one that we've kind of been hoping for forever?
Yeah, it depends on if you like this. Yeah, I mean, it's better than the last 7 years, I think. So they're doing well. Yeah, I think it just depends on how good these games are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited about the showcase in general?
No, I don't. I find it's just no. I
Come
let me
on, where's the optimism?
Oh, shut up, Ewan. I've been doing this too long to be optimistic, but no, I just find if you don't expect anything, it's more exciting when you get surprised. I know that's a real negative way to think about things, but yeah. Indiana Jones didn't do too much for me, when I first saw it, so I'm not too excited for that. I'm kind of keen for Avowed, but I'm also skeptical as to how different it can be from all those other Western RPGs. So yeah, I don't know. I don't mean to be negative, but yeah, I don't know. It's just there's no Resident Evil this year, so I can't be happy. That's just there's no minimum for me. But yeah, I think it's way better than their other years. Obviously, to get back to what you were saying.
Yeah, and to Kieran's point, some of the stuff that's kind of been kicking around for a little while, to see that kind of coming to fruition is exciting.
Yeah, I still can't believe Hellblade is out this month. That's
in
wild
2
to
weeks.
me. Yeah,
Don't worry about marketing it. It's it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's really odd to me. But then, yeah, I don't know.
I need to make some time to finish off the first. I never actually beat it.
You should. You
Yeah,
should play every
problematic.
game
Game
that
Pass.
we recommend to you.
I know.
Like, and
It's so rare that I do as well, James. It's
I'm
terrible.
well aware.
Just play Apex.
Brody, I'm sure we'll be doing a predictions podcast like in the coming month or so, but is there anything at this point in time that you're kind of hoping to see at the showcase? Presumably there would be more than kind of what we've already, heard some murmurs about.
Yeah. I guess to echo somewhat what Kieran's sentiment was, like I would like, while something like Gear 6 I think would be a nice thing to like close on, to like say, hey, look, we've been working on, because the coalition have been working on that for probably like 4 years at this point. So I mean, you need to hear something about it, and even if it is still a couple years off, I think that's better than nothing. But yeah, I'd like updates on games that we probably heard about last year. Whether that's not going to be release dates, I'm sure, but like games like South of Midnight and A Clockwork Revolution and stuff like that. I think those are very exciting. Fable, even, like I don't know where that bloody thing's at this point. So yeah, I'm very excited for it. Like I will prepare myself to be heartbroken again. Like I don't mind. I'm happy to ride or die like that. But yeah, I think it'll be good. If the rumors about Gears are true, that's exciting, and obviously I'm very keen to, I guess, have that back end of the year slate laid out, which will obviously include one you didn't mention, which is the Starfield DLC, which is all but confirmed. That Shattered Space or whatever it's called. So that'll be. I'm mildly keen for that. The crowd goes mild, but yeah, be good.
Todd Howard appeared in an interview with Kind of Funny, indicating that was coming out this
Like
spring.
in the fall or something
I think.
like that,
Yeah. Another game I kind of want to go and spend more time with. I want to bring Call of Duty into the conversation too, seeing as that's the other half of this showcase that's
Allegedly.
pitched for June. Allegedly. You've seen the image though, right,
Yeah.
Brody? Like it's
Where it says Activision in the bottom corner. And
Yeah,
clearly says
yeah.
Ops
And-
under the,
Yeah, and apparently, like, the image has been found in, like, the files for Modern Warfare 3 and everything as well. All of
They
this
almost
stuff.
did it.
Given Treyarch are the lead developers on the next release, and it's been a little while since we last saw them lead the development of a game, they've had a longer sort of production cycle thanks to the kind of switch-ups in the scheduling. Do you have, like, any additional interest in the game this year? Shannon, you've played a few Call of Duty games. Do you take any more interest in this one?
Yeah. Firstly, just I found it. I think I was telling Kieran today that it's very weird that they took the redacted stance with this. Like knowing a Call of Duty comes out every year.
Don't you think it's a bit tongue in cheek, the fact that it's probably Black Ops, and that's kind of like the point of those
Yeah,
games,
but
that they obviously have information and stuff like that.
be a bit cheeky with it, but then like say it. Like to the fact that they're clearly just going to play this line and as if people don't know what it is until June is odd. Like, and then the people that haven't seen it it's just gonna be Call of Duty. Feels like a bit flat to me. But
It's just like not exciting.
yeah, and I
think
feel like the
that's
people that love COD, you want to hype that up and like play into that. So it's just a bit of an odd marketing decision. But I think they're obviously really confident in it. Last year, I think, was the first year in probably a decade I didn't play the COD release at all. I literally know nothing about it. So it can only be up from here. And as you mentioned, Treyarch have had a bit of a break. So I'm confident that like if they're hyping it up, it's obviously the first year they've owned that IP. It should be celebrated. I just think it's a weird way of doing it. But yeah, as long as they deliver.
Yeah, they typically make a big song and dance of like the kind of global premiere or that kind of thing. Maybe that's like more like a week out or something. They might start doing that, but yeah,
COD's been weird for the last 2 or 3 years. Like it's been obviously a bit all over the place. And this hopefully will be the year they bring it together.
Yeah, I have always really liked the Black Ops games, and they're kind of popular in the fan base for that reason as well. And Treyarch obviously have a really strong track record of producing some of the best multiplayer. But
we
too,
don't know if it's going to be like Game Pass and stuff yet, do we? Like they haven't actually ever said anything about that, so that could be a big deal. Obviously,
I think also, the fact that they have a deep dive on a COD game is maybe indicative of the fact that they might be doing something different this year. And I've got a feeling that they've been kind of working towards that with the fact that, like last year's COD was clearly
an in-between.
Yeah. I do think there'll be something quite different about this. I also might have made this up in my head, but I feel like there was a rumor that this was going to be like open world-esque, like Far Cry-esque, not as big as Far Cry, but closer to that. So like if that is true, and that's the only thing that I find like remotely interesting about this is that the fact there is some kind of direct afterwards that kind of goes into it. Like I feel like if it was just a plain normal COD, they wouldn't do that, you know.
Yeah, that's
What about
exciting.
yourself, Brody? You're a big Call of Duty campaign guy. Does Treyarch kind of coming back excite you?
Yeah, I think so. I think to again echo what you said, like the Black Ops campaigns are generally very, very good. I didn't really get into the third one quite as much, and obviously the fourth one had no single player, so it's been a bit of a wait, I guess, for people who like that, you know, really sort of mysterious, almost, like mind control-y sort of storylines that they do there, like, and obviously like timey-wimey sort of stuff that they do. Like it's always very weird, but yeah, I'm definitely down for another Black Ops, as long as they like bring back the key people of the cast that you would want to see and stuff like that. Find some way to do that. Even they might do what they've done with Modern Warfare and maybe reboot it to a degree. Who knows? Like I know the rumors suggest that it is 5, but you never know. Yeah, but
I
hopefully
think the rumors were it's like set in the Gulf War, right? So like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because am I wrong in remembering that is the last game these guys did Cold War? Was that Treyarch?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. I had the list up in front of me not long ago, but I'm now blanking.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that has been a good wait. So I mean, like, provided they've been working on this throughout and not supporting other CODs, I guess, that have come out, then this one has all the promise of like probably breaking away from that old cookie cutter mold that they've been in for like the better part of the last decade. So
Yeah.
optimistic.
I do think it's quite interesting. It like I guess the progression of time being what it is, that like Modern Warfare was like set in the mid 2000s, so the kind of Black Ops, which was more of like a historical sort of setting, has now made its way into the 90s.
Do you think they take the opportunity of having this Call of Duty Direct or whatever it's going to be to like bring the entire back catalogue to Game Pass as well? Because they've got to pull the trigger on bringing all those games to Game Pass at some point. Probably a good opportunity to do that.
Wouldn't surprise me if they do them in installments. Like I don't think they would bring them all at once, but maybe they kind of go into the back catalogue and bring a few over and then kind of drip feed more in time. But yeah, I think you're right. It would make sense to kind of have
Here's
some
Call
sort
of
of
Duty
announcement
2
to that.
Big Red One. Enjoy.
But yeah, I'm excited for the showcase. We've obviously got a fair few kind of teed up for that time of year, and I anticipate we'll kind of do a predictions podcast in maybe a month or so from now. Kind of
Don't you think
early
just
June,
just
late May.
quickly? Don't you think it's annoying? And I'm maybe just being selfish here, but Perfect Dark and Fable were both announced in like 2020. It's like, don't you think we should see more of them by now? Do you reckon
Maybe
we will?
Maybe this is
Perfect
the
Dark
time.
in particular, yes. I mean, Fable we've had dribs and drabs, so I mean we got to be patient on that front. But Perfect Dark, it's like definitely like, what the fuck is that game?
It's like so frustrating to me.
I almost think that Perfect Dark can't exist in like a near finished state with how I can't even remember that studio. What's it called again? The Initiative. Like they lost like all their top people, and like who knows what it
no
is.
initiative
Isn't
there
that like
anymore.
Crystal Dynamics are
That's
there?
all
Like,
I'm gonna
what
say.
are they doing?
I don't know. Fable has to happen, and I feel like that team is like good. They haven't made a game like that, but like they've made some of Xbox's best games. But Perfect Dark, I just think it's perfectly dark on that front. I fear.
Cancelled.
You would kind of think it'd be perfect timing to sort of release like Fable in the next kind of year or two. Kind of like off the high of Baldur's Gate 3, but before, I mean, it's going to be ages before Elder Scrolls 6 materializes, but you would want to land in between.
like Xbox have a great year this year, but like I feel like they can talk about the next slate of games. Like if there is Fable and Perfect Dark, like they could really smash it home by like saying this is the next few years, and they're in a position to do that. I think whether they will, I don't know, but if they really wanted to drive it home, they could.
Smash it home, drive it home.
Both, like ram it home, baby. Let's go.
Just send it.
Well, of course, it's not the only showcase later for June. Kieran's done a write-up of everything that's kind of been announced so far with the timings and stuff that's all on the website. So in preparation for the period of time formerly known as E3, do go and check that out. For now, though, let's talk about Square Enix cancelling or rescoping $220 million worth of games. They made the fairly bold announcement to its investors, labeling it as a content abandonment loss that will be reflected in its books for the financial year ending March 2024. The company claims to have revised its approach to the development of its consoles and PC games, or what it calls high-definition games, and how it allocates resources. James, I'm going to come to you first and foremost on this one, I think. What's your take on this? Does this seem like a sensible decision to kind of refine their focus, I suppose?
I think that this is happening everywhere. I just think this is the first time Square Enix has talked, like, not Square Enix, but somebody has talked about it, I guess, like, so openly.
And maybe quantified it as well. Like 220 million is a scary number, but
like there is absolutely like the first example I think of is, say, like Sony closing Japan studio and those kinds of games kind of not coming out anymore. Well, not kind of, definitely not coming out anymore. That I think that's absolutely something that's happening everywhere. I think, like, real talk, like, obviously, like, I don't think Final Fantasy 16 did as well as it should have. Forspoken didn't do as well.
definitely not.
Like, it didn't do well, full stop. Like, unfortunately.
Sad but true.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, like, especially in terms of Final Fantasy, like, those games are expensive. They are very expensive to make, especially, like, say, the remakes are so big, and the problem with the remakes is as well, like, they're already kind of appealing to people who played the originals, and as you go through each one, you need to have kind of, like, to play Rebirth, you really need to have played Remake, and, like, that's a big barrier to entry for a lot of people, and I feel like the problem is like the audiences for these games just aren't growing as a result. And that doesn't mean, like, I'm not commenting on the quality of the games or anything like that, but, like, I'm just saying, like, you to make these games have to get bigger and better every time, but, like, they're not growing their audiences and making that return on investment. Like, that's just how it works, right? So, like, it doesn't surprise me.
To that point, I think Remake would have done really well because that was, like, right at the start of COVID from memory, right? Like, I just think that was, like, at the peak of gaming, and we all know
always
so
going
much
to be
hype around that at the time.
So much buzz. It was a game that, like, people were asking for since the PS3, right? So nothing was ever really going to top that. But
it's also in the naming. Sorry, James, but it's also in the naming convention, I think, with that game as well. Like, people wanted a Final Fantasy VII remake, and then they got it, and then they came out with Rebirth, and it's like we already had Remake. Like, what is this?
Yeah. I need to go back to Rebirth, but I don't feel like it's had the kind of staying power that Remake had either. Like, people don't seem to be talking about it in the same way. And maybe that's just because the novelty of it isn't the same, but it just kind of feels that people are, like, more down on that game than they were.
I don't think people are down on it. I just think, like,
they don't have time,
like,
as much time.
It's so big. Like, I think, and everybody keeps saying, like, oh, there's so much in it. And I'm like, and it's kind of like Ewan and I think
just cut the whole beach section.
I was literally about to say, like, even Steve's playing it at the moment, friend of the show.
Special
Steven.
guest.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, the beach bit is, like, so long. And I'm like, I don't really know. There was, like, no lessons learnt from the first game, like the Harry Potter graveyard section, train yard section, sorry. But, like, yeah. I don't know. It's I really hate reading stuff like this because I do feel like... But then Square has tried so much things with so many games over the years. Like, even their... What's that? There's that visual novel that I played last year. I already forgot what it was called. The one about the ghosts. The 7 Ghosts of Hojo or whatever. Like, you guys probably have never heard of it. I know Kieran probably has. But it
doesn't seem like he has.
Yeah. Paranormal Soul. That one. That's Square Enix, right?
Yeah, that checks.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. See?
Paranormal Souls.
Even Kieran didn't know what it was. And he's like, you know, the Square boy.
I'm at the teat. The one I've got left anyway.
Yeah. But then, and that, was it the Deaf Man? What's that other moot game that they tried to...
Man.
The Blind Man?
Yeah. Wasn't he deaf?
No, The Quiet Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, obviously that, like, but those games, like, are all not what you would
Niche.
typically expect in the AAA space.
Yeah.
And while I obviously appreciate, like, Paranormal Soul is really good, The Quiet Deaf Man, Blind Man was not particularly good. But, like,
Babylon's Fall.
you know, I still, yeah.
Balan Wonderworld.
Babylon's Fall, wasn't it? Yeah,
Balan
yeah,
Wonderland,
see?
or whatever it was called. Yeah.
There's a lot of examples.
Some of those games, like, obviously, most of them turned out shit, but, like, there was that experimentation, I think, which was really cool. And
How's
I kind
Stars
of...
going?
Yep. So, obviously, there's, like, a lot that we can list for Square Enix.
I
They
was
should
going to
just-
say, I had the follow-up questions, like what games might get the attention and what might be on the chopping
we've
block,
just
and I
said
think
them
we've
all.
listed them all.
I think, like, I wouldn't
fair
be
few.
surprised to see just Square pivot now to, like, very safe Final Fantasy projects and Dragon's
Yeah.
Quest for Japan. Like, I think that's...
Which is a
that's
shame,
it.
right? Like I like the experimental Square. Like Outriders, for instance, like is another one that they published, and I kind of dug
But
that
that's not...
game.
Like, I would
and I think
hardly call that
Forspoken could have been
experimental, though.
something as well.
But, like, I don't...
It's a new IP, I suppose. Maybe
But
that's kind of more.
Outriders
the thing.
is another example that, you know, I feel like it was them trying something and
Yeah.
falling flat. But,
Doesn't
Yeah.
220 million doesn't seem like it's a lot of money, but like that's like one
mean,
or
like,
two big
three or
games,
something.
right? Like that could, yeah, like it doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're like canceling everything. Like that could just be a few big projects.
Does this concern you, James, that you might not get another Final Fantasy Origin? Strangers of Paradise?
can I just say as well, that game, see, that's experimentation done right. That game was amazing and is, like, so underrated, and I agree, I 100% would be upset if I didn't get another one.
It
of them.
probably didn't
I
sell
don't
well
think-
still, I don't think.
I'm assuming it sold 18 copies, but, like, I really enjoyed it. Like, definitely am responsible for 3 of them. Played with my friends. We had a grand time. To your
Did you play the game with friends, James?
absolutely, it was
Oh.
amazing. Why?
Did you all
It's
get
a horror
together
game.
and
You
play
haven't
at the same
settled down.
time? Or?
It's a 3-player co-op game, Ewan. So yeah, we did. You moron. Anyway, to go back to Brody's question that I've already answered, but I'm going to pivot to a new question. I am really upset that I might not get. I've got a feeling that there might not be a Final Fantasy IX remake on the horizon anymore. Like, I think that was coming, but now it's like one of those, like, kind of in-between games where people kind of liked it but didn't love it. I don't think that'll happen now. But yeah, where do we go from here?
It's a very good question. I
Can
don't
I,
know.
It's
actually,
over.
I've just got one more comment, just quickly. I'm just thinking about this. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, I haven't played the other ones when they hear Final Fantasy 16. Like, I feel like they have
Yeah.
to just, like, rebrand it. To,
They
like,
do.
Just give them
Because-
subtitles, you know, like
Yeah.
Final Fantasy The Wave or
And they
something.
always like the
yeah.
pain. Like they always go to like such lengths to try and get like all the marketing and every like press thing you go to. It's like we really want to reinforce that. You know that you don't have to have any experience with any other game in the franchise, and it's like, well, why like have
the Roman
number
numerals
16
as well that
attached to
just
it?
confuses people, I think.
I think drop
Yeah.
them now. Like, they work for GTA and even then, barely. Like, people call GTA V
Yeah.
and IV. Like, that's still a thing. But, like, I think, yeah, maybe just... I know that's not going to solve everything, but as an example, I feel like a lot of people would be less hesitant to jump in if it didn't sound like it was season 16 of a TV show, you know?
Yeah. I never know what to do, like, uploading the podcast episode when Roman numerals play. I'm like, do I do the Roman numerals or do I do the number? Do I do a combination of the both? Like, I don't know what's the, like, SEO appropriate thing
Like,
to
that's
do.
like kind of
brackets
your
5.
job, isn't it? Isn't
Yeah.
Shouldn't you?
We can have that
Well,
conversation after.
I don't know what people's, like, search.
I think the number. I think the
Don't give away
number.
the SEO secrets.
The number, not the
here.
Roman numerals. Yeah.
My gut says that's easy to type.
Have a
So
TED Talk.
Totally is. Yeah. Anyhow, we're definitely getting off topic, so let's switch over to the Switch 2 rumors. It's been a little minute since I didn't really mean to do that, but here we are. It's been a little minute since we heard of discussed any rumors, but they do continue to come out. With the latest report from the outlet Vandal claiming the next iteration of the Joy-Con 2 controllers will attach to the console with magnets. I think specifically the kind of electromagnets that can kind of be like turned on and off. Brody, how might magnets work? Do you think that you can just like clip a couple of controllers onto the side of a Switch and it'll be a good
The
experience?
thought I was having about it is how will it affect their marketing? Because obviously the Switch noise at the minute is like their click, Like, so what's it gonna be? Just
Yeah, the like snap of it in place.
yeah, like two magnets. Just yeah. So
Well, like magnets can like snap together.
That is
like,
the most important thing that I was thinking
and then
about
you snap
too.
them together from a distance, and it cracks the screen, and like it's
Oh god.
They're not
This
like
is rife
giant
with
magnets. Destroy the console.
you could get
I
things caught in these magnets. I'm very concerned. Don't attach them on your lap. You'll be in trouble.
I was kind of imagining, you know, like the AirPods case when you like flick the lid shut, it makes
Oh,
that
that is
kind of rather satisfying click sound.
It is
I
always
was
too
kinda
loud
thought
though.
about
I
that.
always try and close mine really quietly,
Yeah,
and it's
I
always
know.
still too loud. Like if I'm putting
Well,
the
there's your
headphone in to
noise.
like go to bed, and Katie's already asleep, like I always wake her up with the the case like.
I'm the
thunder.
same. Yeah.
Kieran, what about you? Are you excited about magnets on the Switch too?
I'm very excited about magnets on the Switch too. It's the one thing I've been hoping they'd announce.
Sequel to Arms magnets.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense. Like the rails are like kind of super finicky.
The rails, yeah,
Um,
they suck. I've had problems with them. So like an alternative is good, I guess.
Yeah. I just kind of hope it feels like as like a strong enough, kind of solid enough connection, because at the moment it kind of feels a little flimsy with the hinges, and I just
It's not so much them
rigorous
taking them
session,
off
it would
the Switch.
come
It's
off.
like more the wrist strappy part. Like that's the annoying part, right? Like I don't know if anyone has any trouble getting them on and off.
the wrist strappy.
Yeah,
part.
like
If you put that on
the wrong way,
like,
exactly.
it
You
is
can't-
over.
exactly.
Like, it is
You
so,
can't get it
I've said
off.
from the beginning, it is so like
Oh, I
not
forgot
Nintendo
about
like.
that.
The fact that you
yeah,
can,
that
like, put them
part's
on the wrong
annoying.
way.
Like putting them on and off the Switch, I feel like is fairly fine. It's like the other part, which is super annoying. And you have to do it if you need to play like on inside or WarioWare or whatever. Like it's annoying. So I hope they fix that.
the Elite
I just
controller
never use
uses
those
magnets now, and that's like fine.
The
I feel
which
like we've had
controller
that
strappy?
conversation before on
Oh,
this podcast,
have
haven't we?
we?
How they like fly off.
Well, mine don't fly off because I don't throw my controller around, but it's in my hands. Like it's working fine. Like obviously, if I drop it, they'll fall off. But like,
Does
I don't
happen. Sometimes it'll fall off the couch.
Many a analog stick lost under the couch.
Yeah. Back buttons all over the shop.
Shopping trolley.
Does anyone
murdered.
have like any other kind of controller specific requests for the Switch 2 ahead of that coming out? I'm sure it's not too late to call up Mr. Nintendo and
That
have
what I
them
just
go
spoke
in.
about. Like I want the buttons to just be like buttons on the side. So like if you do just unmagnetize them and flick it around, like you can just use them without attaching those wrist strap things. I hate them.
Oh right, so the ones
they
that are
are-
kind of like
They're there, but you
buttons.
can't use them.
Yeah.
They're like indented.
They're a bit awkward.
Like
you can.
Oh.
Like, what do you mean?
Okay. Show me
what
how
do you
you.
mean, okay?
It's not a
That's not an
comfortable
answer.
experience. Like it's not good. It's not meant for that.
Okay. Okay.
It works when you're trying to play Mario Kart on a plane together. That's fine.
It's probably a selfish request, and it's probably not fair because I think Nintendo have had it longer. But I wish they would go the Xbox way and go ABYX for their
No,
thing. 'Cause I
that's
hate
really-
going from one to
I
the
don't
other.
think
Fucking
Nintendo's
do that.
giving into Xbox at this stage,
I don't give a shit.
unfortunately.
If they give
Let me
anything,
change it.
Xbox might change their
Yeah.
buttons.
They wouldn't want to. I'll boycott.
Yeah,
It is the
well,
first thing I do in like every game that Brody is like remap the jump button to B.
Yeah, it's just
No, that's weird.
Even getting into games
Isn't
on the
it?
Switch is just an ordeal. I can't do it.
An ordeal.
Brody just wants them to
They're
scrap
closing out
everything
of
and start again.
It's truly a harrowing experience.
Throw it out for fuck.
I just want something that's a bit meatier. That's my only request because
Like heavy
I
up?
just can't like kind of hold on to the
You
things.
want
And I don't
carpal
know
tunnel.
if this happens to anyone else, but I'll illustrate with my phone. But like it kind of digs into the palm of your hand and cuts off circulation to your pinky.
What?
Well, it's going to be bigger, so I think they're going to be bigger, right? I think you're
Like-
going to get that.
Just
Yeah.
buy a Split Pad Pro, Ewan.
Yeah, maybe should. Is that like the kind of horror one,
The
right?
chunky-
that
yeah.
looks
That's
like-
what I was thinking. I feel like it was such a
think I need
gimmick
to do that.
to play the Switch like that in the early days, but I don't feel like you do much anymore, right? Like most people have a Pro controller or some kind of third-party PowerA or something. So I don't know if it's as
to compare it to the Portal, like that is such a comfortable experience, seeing as it's like the full-on controller.
Yeah.
It's also
it's
like
really nice.
double the size.
And now to the
But I
ad
guess-
read.
Well, it's
Yeah.
meant to be bigger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is bigger. Like, what do you...
No, the Switch 2 is meant to be bigger.
Oh,
is what
okay.
I'm saying.
Right. I thought
Yeah.
it's like the portal's
I think it's meant to
bigger.
be between like the current size and a Steam Deck sort of size. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the
If the rumors
controllers.
is to be
I'm more
believed.
interested about,
the games.
how that all plays out, like in terms of the, I guess literally everything else I'm interested in. But yeah.
Well, hopefully we can stop talking about rumors and speculation sometime soon. We can actually get a glimpse of the damn thing in reality. In the meantime, though, I do have a rapid fire question for you all, though. And that is, did you hope the Housemarque Returnal tease on X was going to be something other than a new graphic novel?
Yes.
Brody?
I wasn't phased one way or the other. I'm sorry.
James?
Like, I don't want to be rude because I'm sure people put time into this, but it's like not interesting. Like, I just think like they still have one of the best games on PS5. I was super excited to see they were maybe doing something new soon, but
I don't believe you were super excited.
I think they just needed to tease it differently,
Okay,
but I
Shannon.
certainly was hoping it was something game
It could have
related
just
as
been
opposed
one
to a graphic
tweet.
novel.
Like, they could have just announced that on its own without the whole.
just announce the graphic novel without the tease.
I thought it was going to be a new game called Tomorrow. I thought that would have been cool. Like, it's tomorrow.
Oh.
It's called Tomorrow. Yeah, well,
Because I guess like Returnal
Literal,
is
a
always,
literal
like, the same
interpretation.
game.
literally.
What a game Returnal is. I feel like
Yeah.
that's an underrated
I
game.
agree. That's why. And then when Shannon says like I wouldn't be excited. That's incorrect.
I said
It's like,
super excited. I feel like that's. I couldn't imagine you like giddy in bed, like looking at it on your phone.
I don't get giddy in bed about anything. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I thought it'd be like a VR something or something like that. Wasn't expecting a new game, but I thought like some kind of new experience with it would have been nice. But a comic it is.
But then
What
you
about, like-
remembered that PSVR 2 is dead?
Well, yeah,
And
it would have been a
that's what
nice treat for those that
they
picked
could
it
have
up.
called it like Return to Tomorrow. Like,
My
that's
God,
like, you know,
get
like,
past the tomorrow.
well, that's like, you know, ironic. The name. I don't know. I think it's really clever. of me.
Are you referencing
It's
the
like-
Edge of Tomorrow? Is that
Oh
what
yeah, no, like, but Returnal, like Returnal 2 would be called Return to Tomorrow. It's like back and forward time.
Tomorrow
Anyway,
never comes.
There's lots of ideas if they're listening that they the next time they
Yeah.
You
tease.
got your title.
someone flick this episode over to Housemarque.
Let's play What the Wiki, the Press Start podcast game show with the previous week's winner reads part of a Wikipedia page from an unknown game, and we, the contestants, must guess the game. A point is awarded for each correct guess, with the round concluding after someone's bagged themselves 2 points. I was last week's winner, which surprised me
Huge.
mostly. James, you are still in the lead, though. You're on 13 points. I'm now just 1 point behind on 12. Pressure's on. Kieran and Shannon are tied with 9 points. Brody's on 8, and Harry is on 5. I do have a list of games prepared, so if you are all ready, I'll make a start.
Yeah,
Game number 1. The single-player campaign has several differences from the main multiplayer component. For the most part, the player must traverse mini sandbox-style levels, in some cases using vehicles like tanks and boats to traverse the environment. As the player character, Wrecker, the player can use 2 campaign-only functions, the Engage command and the Tactical Binocular. The Engage command directs Wreck's squad mates and occasionally other friendly units to attack any hostiles in Wrecker's line of sight. The game's multiplayer contains 3 playable factions, the United States, China, and Russia, fighting against each other in up to 64-player matches on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, or 24-player on Xbox
Brody
360 and
chimed in.
PS3.
Yeah, I thought I chimed in.
Shannon.
Yeah, you did.
Wait, hang on, sorry. Brody,
Brody-
you jumping in there?
Yeah.
You weren't just shouting your name.
But now I'm not sure. Homefront 2.
It's not Homefront 2. No. Shannon?
Nah, I was joking.
Oh, okay.
James.
Kieran, I saw you itching. Were you gonna... No? James?
No, I was going to say Homefront 2 as well.
I was gonna say Company of Heroes 3.
No.
Okay,
Incorrect all
cool.
around. A newly reintroduced commander mode gives one player on each team a real-time strategy-like view. Shannon?
Command and Conquer 4. I don't fucking know.
No. Gives one player on each team a real-time strategy-like view of the entire map and the ability to give orders to teammates. I'll open it back up to everyone. That's the end of the paragraph.
Well,
The
that's how it
game is a
works.
2013 first-person shooter video game developed by DICE and published by Electronic
Kieran.
Arts. Kieran.
Is it Battlefield Bad Company 2?
It's not Bad Company 2.
Shannon. Battlefield.
Brody.
Bad Company. It's not. It's. I know what it is.
2013, guys.
I know.
Right,
I don't
Brody?
know. It's.
Yeah, so 2013. It's Battlefield 4.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is Battlefield
I-
4.
With
Well
the
done,
different
Brody.
campaign things? Yeah, okay.
That brings you up to 9 points. That's 3 of you tied on 9 points now. Game number 2. The development team of the game was composed of members known for their work in the fan game and ROM hacking community. Development began after lead developer, director,
Kieran.
and Kieran.
Is it Sonic Mania?
It is Sonic Mania. Well done, Kieran. Right on it. That's Kieran on 10 now. Game number 3. The game is an action-adventure game set in an open-world environment and played from a third-person perspective. The player controls the main character in the world of New Marais. His electricity-based powers are
Kieran.
used...
James.
Kieran.
Is it Infamous Second Son?
No!
Shannon.
Brody. James was next, wasn't he?
No, it was James.
James was cued.
This is hard. I don't want this. Oh, okay. Is it
Shit.
Infamous 2?
Yes, it is James. Well
Huge.
done.
Well done.
Keeping everyone in the hunt. All right, game number 4 we're at. So hang on, we've got Kieran, Brody, and James have all picked up a point. Yep, excellent. Game number 4. The game is a turn-based strategy video game in which one or more players compete along computer-controlled AI opponents to grow from a small tribe to control the entire planet across several periods of development. This can be accomplished by achieving one of several victory conditions, all based on the 4X gameplay elements: explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. Players manage a society of their choice and develop their technology, culture, and government structure between ancient times and the near future.
Brody.
Brody?
Civilization 4.
It's not Civ 4, no.
James.
James?
Humankind.
No.
That was going to be my guess.
They found cities and grow them through the creation of mines, farms, and other improvements, while simultaneously exploring the randomly generated world and encountering other civilizations and barbarians. Players have the ability to trade and manage peaceful diplomatic relations with other civilizations. Shannon?
No, I don't. Age of Empires 4.
No.
Jack,
Or alternatively, yep,
Oh.
James.
Civilization 6.
It is Civ 6. Well done, James.
didn't
This
feel
round very much the product of random game generator. Okay, cool. So where that leaves the scoring, James has stretched out his lead annoyingly up to 15 points. Shannon and Brody now tied on 9 in 4th place, but Kieran has secured himself 3rd spot on 10 points. Yeah, there we go. James,
Well
you'll
done,
be hosting
James.
next week. And with that, let's bring an end to what was this week's episode of the Press Start podcast. Subscribe to us and listen to the podcast service of your choice. Follow us at press.au and visit the site at pressstart.com.au. We've been joined today by Kieran.
Yeah, you can follow me on, what is it called? X at Hash Brown.
Check back next week. Maybe it'll be
Yeah.
called for again. Who knows? Brody?
Thank you. You can follow me on most things at Brody_DG.
Shannon?
Yes, you can follow me at Shannon Grixty on everything.
And James.
Yes, you can follow me on Exit at Jams ATJAMZ.
And I've been your host, Ewan. You can follow me on socials at Ewan_Roxborough. Thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, happy gaming.
Bye.
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 Bye.